people have been afraid, including Palestinians, and the Palestinian Solidarity Movement has been really afraid to expose this notion of this Zionist aspiration for there to be an ethnically Jewish state in Palestine, and to say that this is completely unacceptable. You know, the notion of establishing and maintaining a state that has this notion of ethnicity, which is built on the dispossession and the ethnic cleansing of another nation and their continued oppression, is just totally immoral and totally wrong. And I think it's just time that we said that forcefully and confidently.
In Manchester, and the last bombardment of Gaza, we had huge demonstrations. Then we had the Labour head of Manchester City Council, Richard Leese, having met secretly with the Jewish Labour group, actually making a statement on behalf of citizens of Manchester that he would not allow in Manchester demonstrations in support of the Palestinians. Wow. So what do you do with that? You go back to your city council and you say, how dare you tell me and tell our city what issues we will stand up and fight against. You know, that's what you do. You don't let them browbeat you and you don't let them frighten you. You have principles and you stand by them. We have got to show them that we are as united and we are as strong as they don't believe we are. And if we are intimidated and we do stay silent, they win.
I find myself conflicted in this situation, partly perhaps because of my generation. But I knew people who were Holocaust survivors. I feel that many Jewish people still feel a deep existential threat that somehow or other the same thing could happen again, that they have to have this defensive space in Israel. I mean, I know you've heard all this before, but it means a lot to them. And how do we sort of help them get over that deep existential threat, which makes them fight against everything? I mean, that's where I get a bit stuck. But what I will say is that I heard the village of Neve Shalom Wahat al-Salam mentioned, a mere drop in the ocean, but it has quite an influence now in terms of developing exchange between Israeli Arabs and Israeli Jews. If only we could have a little bit more of that conciliatory spirit.
We've got to take up the challenge that Jackie made, which has not been taken up, and actually it's the challenge that Chakrabarti herself made, which is to talk about anti-Semitism in the context of racism. Yes. And not allow the JLM to claim the voice. That's what's happened. They claim to speak for all Jews. And it's the responsibility of those of us who aren't Jewish to create a voice where our Jewish sisters and brothers, who are not part of that so-called democratic movement that Newmark had the audacity to talk about earlier, to hear their voices and let their legitimacy be heard. And it's actually anti-Semitic of us to assume that Jeremy Newmark speaks for all Jews. That's anti-Semitic.
Dealing with the problem of anti-Semitism within the context of racism, but also dealing with the problem of due process, natural justice, proper procedure, and we have to stand for that against the purge which has been inflicted on the Labour Party, where nobody knows what they're charged about, nobody knows what the evidence is, nobody knows who has accused them, and nobody knows when it will end.
It's about tactics with anti-Semitic accusations and slurs. I wonder whether it isn't best to actually ignore the accusations. And I wonder how many of you would agree with me or would raise this question. that perhaps Jeremy Corbyn and the leadership were not correct in bringing in Chakrabarti to make the report on anti-Semitism in the Labour Party. I'll tell you why I say that. Because one of the tactics of our enemies is to put you in the position where you have to defend yourself. So I'm suggesting to this meeting that one of the ways we might consider as a way of dealing with this is to not take the bait, not start defending and engaging in the discussion, but saying something like, I would suggest, somebody says, oh, you're anti-Semitic, or you say, you're attacking me. You are attacking me. What's the matter? At the moment you take them seriously and you start to put yourself out in trying to defend yourself, they succeed. They've already succeeded.
The other day we discovered that we had an arms manufacturer in Broadstairs, and it's owned by Elbit, an Israeli company. My partner Christine and several other people went on a protest against them. It was the Campaign Against the Arms Trade, who are a large pressure group who operate all over the country, and they had a protest against having an arms manufacturer in our community. The Tory MP, after that protest, a week or so later, wrote to Jeremy Corbyn saying that there were anti-Semitic people, examples of anti-Semitism in that area, that he should ban from the rally that he was due to hold just down the coast in Ramsgate just a few days later. And he said that he would hold these people up as examples of the virus of anti-Semitism going around the country. Now, none of those people had ever done anything to do with anti-Semitic activities at all. Because he was sending the letter to Jeremy Corbyn, he knew that under the rules of the Labour Party, Jeremy had no option but to pass it on to the Ian McNichol and the compliance unit.
We need to call this out for what it is. It is a witch hunt. It's not good enough just to say we're against anti-Semitism. We need to say clearly this is a witch hunt, and Free Speech on Israel has provided amazing resources. It's been a great boost to the spirit to see there is this network of experts in the field who can provide the material for which to fight back.